calling you? Am I calling you Z? Big Z? What am I calling you?
Just Biggs will be easy.
Biggs.
Or-
All right. We are joined by Biggs, and we are joined by Corn again.
Hey-o!
So today, we were talking a little bit about homebrew stuff before the podcast started, but I want to touch on certain things I was coming up and talking with to people about earlier this week, and I wanted to talk on the podcast. Is my first question this time is going to be about, can a campaign go on for too long? Like, can you play till it hurts? Is that such a thing? So I'm just gonna go same as I always do, just top to bottom with the Discord list. I'm gonna start with you, Biggs. How do you feel about that? Can you just have a campaign last too long?
I think if you don't take breaks and manage yourself, definitely. I have a D&D campaign that's gone on past level 20 now. I took a year break from that because I'd been running D&D nonstop for 3 or 4 years, even before playing that particular campaign. And I'm just done with D&D. I want a break. And then other people asked me to run D&D, and I didn't get a break from D&D. But I got a break from that campaign, so... Yes, the campaign can go on too long.
A follow up with that is do you find it that it's an equal it's like the players will get burned out, the GM will get burned out? Is it pretty split even, or do you feel like it's kind of the GM that's the one driving the nail in the coffin when it comes to it?
Yeah, the GM will get burned out before the players, usually.
Yeah, and pretty much just call. I'm done. I'm gonna call it there.
Well, he tends to be more, or she. I've had female GMs. The GM tends to have more work going on, and it's more effort to be the dungeon master than it is to be a player.
So you just feel like you're just burning the fuse to when the GM is almost lost.
You're doing everything the player is and more stuff, so you're burning the candle from both ends. I find as a GM.
So Corn, how do you feel about that? Are you pretty much on par, or how do you feel?
Yeah, pretty much. I burned out on a Warhammer Fantasy game that lasted for a year and a half. I ran a game session every week and put a lot of time and effort into it, and by the end, I was just completely burned out. And I loved the game. I loved it. I loved the setting. I loved what I made and the world I had created, and my players enjoyed it. But just week by week for 5 to 6 hour sessions,
Oof.
Yeah, that can burn you out real fast.
Yeah, I guess it is like any video game or movie. You're at the point there where you're just muttering the lines under your breath when you're watching something the 12th time. I'm sure it's you're pretty much done with it.
I think the biggest trick to prevent burnout, though, is especially from the GM side. The game has to not become a job, basically. Wouldn't you say, Biggs?
Yeah, definitely do what you want to do and play what is fun. Not don't feel obligated to do something that you're not enjoying doing.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. Yeah, you kind of have to love what you're doing, otherwise it's just gonna feel like work.
Yep.
So a follow up with that is that Jay, I just blanked. My brain just totally wiped itself.
Well, everybody.
Oh, that happens. I hate when that happens when interviewing someone.
He wrolled an intelligence roll, everybody, and he failed.
-2.
He just rolled a nat 100.
I feel like a sim that just got its progress canceled on whatever it was doing. But yeah, I'm just gonna move on to the next part that I was thinking about.
The host has gone NPC.
Yeah, I just blanked on it. So so campaign can't go on for too long. How about now I remember what I was talking about sessions. Okay, so yeah, so you're talking about once a week for 5 to 6 hours. If a game was, let's say, maybe once or twice a week, but maybe every 2 weeks, so it's all right, we play on Monday and Friday, and then we do it every 2 weeks. do you think doing that or taking breaks and stuff might, like have the campaign last longer? So do you think like a year and a half campaign for 5 to 6 hours a week, would you be able to make it go longer if, say, you were doing, you know, 5 to 6 hours a week, but maybe you take a 2 or 3 week break here and there, and maybe you could possibly get it out to 3 years or something? Do you think that like breaks or stuff would be able to help with that?
Yeah, the game I mentioned before is in its 5th year of having been in existence, and 3 out of 5 of that was playing this campaign straight. So the campaigns can go on and on and on if you really want them to.
Yeah. I mean, if everybody's having fun, like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
who cares? But
To be honestly, I would be a little scared to run 2 sessions a week and take a break off the next week. That'd be a little scary for me.
well, it's like I had a friend who was doing one session every 2 weeks, and I mean, it was fine, but yeah, it's like the progression was so slow.
Yeah,
And
you
I
basically
mean,
half your playtime.
yeah, so it's like that's why I'm saying if you do 2 sessions a week every 2 weeks, you're still playing the same amount, but it's spread out. So it's like,
Yeah, but
I don't know.
imagine scheduling one session a week for, a week. That's difficult. I'm sure everyone's had scheduling conflicts with trying to get RPGs running, right?
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
why you would definitely
Yeah,
have to
now you need to do that
be
twice a
forward
week.
about it.
Yeah,
now
it's
you
a
need to do that
struggle
twice
just
a
to
week.
it's a struggle just to get one day a week where you can get 4 or 5 internet cats herded together. Trying to do that twice a week. Whew.
Yeah, need better catnip corn.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that'd be
get
rough.
that. I get that Sam's Club stuff. The cheap brand.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, my next question would be with that is that so I'll go to Biggs again first. Can a session be too long or too short? So not even a campaign, just the session. Like, is an hour
yeah.
long session too short? I know like an 8 to 10 hour session's too long. But
Yeah. Like, whether a session is going to be too long or too short, it's going to depend on your group, who's GMing, who's playing, what mood everyone's in. There's 1,000 different factors, but sometimes you can play for an hour and be like, yeah, this has just been going on forever. This is just dragging. We just need to call this here because I'm going to kill myself in a minute. Or you can have a group that will go on for hours and hours and be like, oh shit, we've been playing for 2 hours longer than we should have. I need to get up at 5 a.m.
yeah,
and it's already 2:00 in the morning.
That's a particular problem with a fellow player in my real life game. He's a personal trainer. He gets up at like 4 a.m. every single morning. And he's like, all right, guys, well, we can't go longer than like 9, maybe 10 o'clock. And we always end up going over. And he always ends up suffering for it. Like last night where we went to like 11:30. And he's the one who decided we were going to keep going. Because he loves role-playing games too much.
Yeah, like I mean, I've been part of campaigns before. Like I don't know, me as a GM, I've when I was younger, definitely I'd play until it hurt. 8, 10 hours. I don't fucking care. I'd stay up until I saw the sunlight.
Good.
Yeah, but I'm not young anymore. I'm not a little doo-doo baby diaper or whatever. But
yeah, when you're young, hurting can be good. When you're old, it's like, no, I live with chronic pain. Stop.
Yeah, it's like I got a kid. I got stuff I gotta do. I got to work. But it's like
Yep.
I know people my age who are still like they're like they're gonna play like 3 or 4 times a week, and they're gonna play until there's nothing like as like it's like there was one D&D campaign I was in where it's like we'd reach the 5 or 6 hour mark, and I'm like, and even then it was a session where I let the GM know out the gate. It's like I work, so it's like I'm gonna be an hour late, and he was like, "That's perfectly fine. I understand. It's not a big deal." So it's like I was showing up an hour late every time already, and he was still going for for like 7 or 8 hours after I had shown up. So like by the 5 or 6 hour mark, I was like, "Hey man, I'm leaving. He's like, "Oh no, it's not going to be a bit longer. It's going to be like 10 minutes." I was like, "You said that 45 minutes ago. I'm I'm bouncing."
Yeah, the difficulty with ending a session, finding a good note and place to stop.
Yeah, it's
God.
like sometimes the longest session I've done is like maybe 5 hours. I try my best not to go over that, but I've cut them as short as like 2 hours because it's like when we get to a certain point, it's like there was a point in my campaign recently they fought a Baneblade. So that shit came out.
Blade.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, okay, let's get into this." I was like, we're not gonna. I was like, we have 45 minutes left. Because my sessions I aim for 3 hours. I'm like, we have 45 minutes left. I said we're not even gonna finish the first turn of combat. So I was like, we're not gonna start it. And they're like, "Oh, what?" And I'm like, they were like, "But it's only been like 2 hours and something." And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, like, that sucks. I was like, it's like you're gonna have to wait till next week.
Yeah, and it really sucks to come into a session, starting a session already in the middle of combat.
Yeah,
that's not the best.
Yeah, it's
But,
worse
like,
when
a
it's like
Baneblade showing up.
it's
that
worse
is the
when it's in the
perfect
middle of a
cliffhanger.
round. Like in the middle of a round
Yeah.
is even worse because then people
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
forget and stuff, and it's like
You
and,
really want to be if you must end in the middle of combat, end at the end of a turn.
yeah, either the top or the end. Yeah, either one. Or at
But I
least
would
when
say
the
that-
enemy's turn is something like some point of
Well, that's why, like, me and Biggs, especially, I don't know if everyone else GM does it. On Roll20, we use round counters.
No,
Yeah.
I just use the turn thing. I don't actually keep track of what number of round it is.
Yeah, we just throw up a token at the end of the turn, and every time we reach it on the counter, or at least that's how I do it, I just throw a number into one of its little boxes to tell me how many rounds have passed.
It's a great tool, especially if you're doing wave battle. And
Yeah, you like those.
You're using it as like a almost like a timekeeper, so you can bring in the next waves and stuff.
I do like to use clocks for it.
Yes. For my only war game, I like using it for a counter because it's like what in FFG games is what 1 round equals 10 seconds.
Yeah,
Five.
like that, yeah.
I think.
Yeah, 5
It's 5
or
or
10
10.
seconds. It's one of those numbers, you know.
It's a designation of time. Yes. Something
And
like that.
it's kind of fun to watch my players who are struggling. They're like 6 rounds in, they finally killed that first orc wave. Oh no, here comes the next wave of orc war pigs.
See, most of the time with stuff like that, if I'm not controlling it on purpose, for a reason, then I normally leave it up to chance. So like normally I'll roll like a die 10, and if I want a 50-50
Really?
chance, I would just do evens and odds or something like that. Also, I do that in that fashion because the player seeing me roll dice and not knowing what it's for always puts them on edge. And
Yep.
they don't know. It's like sometimes I
Just random rolling.
Yeah, sometimes I
Yeah.
just randomly roll dice. And he's
I
like,
admit to do that and that.
what is that? What are you rolling for? I'm nothing. Don't worry about it. It didn't work. They're like, what?
Yeah.
Nothing.
I can admit, as a player, Biggs has done that too many times and has paranoid me many times.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I like to choose my times because if they're in the middle of like really deep into roleplay, you don't want to, get them paranoid. But sometimes, yeah, that would definitely help, especially if they're, I don't know, like exploring a space hulk and you're trying to set a paranoid atmosphere. They're in the middle of having a whispered conversation in a corner about how to deal with the explosive grav storms up ahead, and you start rolling dice and like, what was that? That was nothing. At least not that you see.
And then they start rolling perception and awareness to try and see if they know about it.
Yeah, if you can get them to start making rolls, then that's good.
Oh yeah, yeah. They start spending action and do awareness checks and shit. I don't know. It's just I feel like the time should fluctuate when needed. It's like we're not going to be able to do this combat round, so ending the session short. When they did the final battle on a planet, they just finished. I always call them chapters in my campaign. A chapter is a mission or
It's a good
something
name.
that takes 3 to 5 sessions or more. So I'm like, all right, you finish this chapter, and they had to like kill a demon prince, and it was pretty rough. I was like,
for my only war
that went
game.
over like 5.5 hours. So I'm like, I was like, fuck it. I was like, we're gonna
Yeah,
finish
my only
it
war
today.
game. Sorry,
No, you're
and
fine.
my only war game, I use operations as kind of my version of chapters. So that my players have a operation name, and I kind of have like a thing that tells them what the rest of the regiment is doing, and tallying up losses and casualty reports for them. So it's got them worried about like, oh no, because like I don't know if we're gonna have reinforcements. We need to work harder, guys. We need to kill more orcs faster. And I'm just kind of going.
See with me, an operation is a grouping of missions. So like a mission can be like, go defend this location, go kill this guy, go find this relic. But the operation is what is taking place on this specific theater. So it's like, a desert planet or an agriculture world or whatever. It's like the assignment is to assist Lades, or which is a planet, or something like that's the assignment, and it's like your mission in this assignment would be like this. It's like that's just how I break it down. So it's like they have assignments for what they're doing there, and then they have missions that they get done. But the chapter thing is just me. That's a meta, like out of game thing. That's like that's something the players know. I'm like, this is aiming to be a chapter in this campaign. That means, oh, okay, so it's going to be like the last one, maybe 3 to 6 sessions or something. Like this one they just got done was like 8 sessions. The one they got done prior was like 2. So like,
I don't let them. I don't let the players know how long the campaign's going to last out of character.
Well, no, that's not the campaign. That's just a piece of it. So like,
that's just one mission.
Yeah, they.
Okay.
The from the moment they set foot on this planet till they now just left it was 8 sessions. Now they're about to get another assignment. So,
wow, 8 sessions?
Yeah, that was just for that. The mission they did at another planet prior only took 2 sessions. Yeah,
wow.
It got kind of complicated. They had a whole thing where they went down there. There was supposed to be a rebellion. Turned out to be some chaotic stuff going on. Had to kill a demon prince.
Oh, it's a Dark Heresy game.
Yeah, I run mine more like Dark Heresy because they're Death Watch Space Marines and Imperial Guardsmen that work.
I was
for
about to say, I was kind of getting scared. My God, for my only war game, I'm being brutal. Like we're in 12th or 13th session, and they haven't gotten far on the world.
No, yeah. If you're doing a whole campaign, like where your regiment's attacking a planet, yeah, you're gonna be there a hot minute. But yeah, like mine is, they weren't even really supposed to be there for that long. They were going for just it was a moment where they felt like this planet's governor was not paying the accurate amount of tithes to the Imperium. And
sounds like heresy.
Yeah,
totally their job.
And over the last 1,500 years, there have been like 40 Imperial agents who came to do the inspection, and out of the 40 out of the 40 that the people that are still alive, there's about 20, and 18 of them retired to that planet. So the Inquisitor's like, we're gonna go investigate this shit. It don't sound right.
Yeah, that's shady.
Yeah, it was also the governor's family. His entire family had been progressively growing more and more wealthier, and he's like, if they're paying, because it was like, yeah, it was a little bit of a political thing. I explained it was like the Imperial planet had an agreement. Their tithe was a percentage, not an amount. It wasn't like they were saying we need 1 million soldiers, we need 1 million rifles. They said like a percentage. So it was like 30%. So whether or not you're making 10 billion rifles or 1 million, it's 30%.
Well, I gotta say,
that number's going to fluctuate.
Lawyers for that planet, whoever was the lawyers for that planet, they did really well.
Well, it's in Jericho's. It's in Jericho's reach.
A percentage is harder to prove than a flat actual number.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but
it's
if you've been underpaying the Imperial tithe and they could discover it, the administrator will audit you, and then they will demand that you pay the entirety of your missed tithes from the last 1,500 years. So I hope you've been stockpiling enough that you can pay for that, or you're getting invaded.
oh yeah, because in this one it was
Really
because in
opposite
Jericho's
Testimonium.
Reach, it's like I really wanted to drive home that the whole like like the fucking like Star Wars, like the huts and stuff. You're at the edge of the Empire. You
Cartel,
get
yeah.
a little bit more ruthless and a little bit more wiggle room. So I'm like, it's Jericho's Reach, man.
Yep.
There ain't nothing but Death Watch and fucking guardsmen out here. I'm like,
At best.
And cold traders.
yeah. I was like, there's a bunch of shit going on, and I'm like, so you have this planet that 1,500 years ago they didn't join the Imperium. They made a treaty with them. And
as
so,
far as they're concerned,
yeah, and so they're able to rule themselves, and it was a pretty crazy thing because when they got there, it ended up being a little more complicated. Like they were there to see about the whole tithe thing and basically accompany the Inquisitor to provide escort and protection and to basically be there because there was a rebellion
Oh,
going
God.
on. But
an escort mission.
yeah, so all the players were like, "Oh, this is gonna be easy." It's like this is just a waste of our time and resources. And then that same mission, they ended up fighting a Baneblade and a Demon Prince. And,
8 sessions later,
yeah,
that wasn't easy.
it was like by the 4th or 5th session they fought the Baneblade, and then 2 or 3 sessions after that they fought the Demon Prince, and it was like, I mean, but they had
I don't know
gotten
which
in
is
quite a
better,
few
a
fights.
Demon Prince or a Baneblade.
They actually the Demon Prince gave him a harder time than the Baneblade, to be honest. The Baneblade killed a lot of NPCs that were helping them and damaged one comrade, but the Demon Prince knocked unconscious 3 players, almost killed 2 others, and knocked down 3 NPC Space Marines that were helping him.
Wow, that was a very nice Demon Prince.
Yeah, kind of. I gave him the ability to be able to attack everybody within range of him.
An attack, that's brutal. But the question isn't what's more difficult, a Baneblade or Demon Prince. It's why not just a Demon Prince in a Baneblade?
I did have a demon spawn come out of the Baneblade. That was cool.
What about dragons?
You could probably have a drag. They got a Helldrake. That's close. That's an aircraft, though.
Yeah,
to be honest.
that's
like
pretty much a dragon.
Aircraft.
What about a Helldrake Prince, Demon Prince?
Helldrake Demon Prince.
Wow.
I don't know what that would even look like. Is he wearing it as like a jump pack, or is he like in it? Because they can make them big.
Screw putting a Demon Prince through the Helldrake process. Just give him a Helldrake as a backpack.
Do they have the Bloodthirster stats in fucking Only War? I don't even know. I need to check. I can't remember.
No, I think they have them Bloodthirster stats.
Demon Prince in a Baneblade. Helldrake is backpack for Demon Prince in a Hellblade.
I'm gonna tell you,
Baneblade.
I'm gonna tell you right now because I looked.
I can't imagine anybody watching. They're just like, I hate to be in the games. These guys are running. They're trying to kill their players.
Yeah, why not? Fuck them.
Hey, it's a perk of being a GM.
It's grim dark. Fuck them. Fuck those players. They'll be all right.
Your PC wakes up one day. You see meat grinders below you. They're whirling, and you're inching slower to them.
If I roll like shit, I get mad because when I it's like I have a lot of experience running games, so it's like I feel like I can guesstimate.
You know what? That actually brings up a good question.
What's
that brings up a good question. Fluffing rolls. Everyone, every GM has probably fluffed a roll that would kill a PC, but have we ever fluffed a roll that would not kill a PC or hurt a PC?
You mean like fluffing it so that it would kill them
or hurt them at least?
I mean, I've definitely just rolled a dice and then said it hit and had no stats at all to go off of. But I've done that before. I've just fucking straight up just made some shit up and just been like, for
roll a 2. I think that hits.
Like a 7.
Yeah. In making combat more difficult, I don't tend to fluff rolls in the favor of the enemies. If I fluff rolls, it's probably to somewhat mitigate some players' bad lucks. I have a player who always rolls really poorly. He's cursed. But if I'm going to make it harder for the PCs, I'll probably fluff the enemy's health or their damage.
Yeah, that's one thing that I am guilty of, is that their hit points are going to be whatever the fuck I decide at the time.
I gotta admit though, I've had enemies that have like no health stats, and I'm just like, okay, now he's dead, or no, he's not dead. He looks rough, but that's about it.
It's like technically, it's like the enemies are like, it's like you're not really, if it's a boss or something like a Demon Prince or a Baneblade, or if it's something like that, you're not really aiming for a certain number of hit points. It's really just whatever amount of time I feel is appropriate. It starts to die, and
he ain't got hit points. He got a round counter.
Yeah, it's like, what? It's like oh, I've killed some people. Yeah, I think he's hurt enough. It's like, or it's like, it's like, oh, they just got like 4 crits in a row. It's like, he's a big boy. He can
take one more.
I gave him healing. I'm just.
Shit, he has regeneration. Oh no, I forgot. The enemy has regeneration. I forgot it this whole time.
Yeah.
Don't announce it. Just like, don't mention it. He lives.
Oh yeah, if they start like questioning it and stuff, yeah, have some shit to throw at him.
Oh yeah, roll awareness with like a +20 or something.
Yeah.
You notice his wounds stitch themselves back together or some shit like that. He's an orc.
Yeah, I had like the demon spawn that came out of the Baneblade. It was like he was just to be a more like, he was gonna be the thing. It's like, oh, okay, there's fucking demons here on this planet. And I wanted him to be more like the alien from The Thing.
Oh god,
he morphed into different things every time he got cut. He would reconstitute his body and stuff like that. So they cut off his arm and it turned into a tentacle, and they sliced him up the middle and it grew teeth, and he now had a big mouth, and it was just stuff like that to fuck with them. And because I had an Astartes Templar.
To be honest, that allows you to add different attack types to the option.
Oh, they weren't doing too much damage. Like, really, to be honest, I was rolling like a flat 2d10 if he hit, but he didn't hit often. And he was fighting an Administrum priest who's built for melee, who had a Crozarius and a power sword and a shield, and then a Black Templar tactical marine that was built for melee with a power sword and a shield. Like, I was fighting, they're pretty tough boys, so like I wasn't trying to beat them too much, but I used it to just further, like, he didn't have any health, but it's like I gave him stuff. I gave him like regen 6, and I gave him I was like, I want to give him something similar to like in D&D. I was like, they have resistances to damage. I was like, I want this guy to have like a resistance to anything that can pierce or slash him, unless it's a force weapon. And so all I did was like all the damage they were doing, I just halved it. And then, the way I described that was cinematically. It's like, okay, you slash him across the chest and you see this black ichor just pouring from the wound. And it looks like it almost goes back into a wound. Before it does, it reaches and like pulls the skin closed as you see it like form this gnarly scar as it seals shut. And they're like, oh.
That's actually kind of cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's like
that's scary now because I'm now going to have to fight this in the Dark Heresy game that Biggs runs that I'm playing.
Yeah,
God damn it.
Maybe.
Sometimes I start with the idea, and it's like that breathed from an idea where I was like, what? You have the Chaos Gods. I'm like, what if you had a Demon Prince and he just was like, why am I fucking listening to someone else if I'm pretty tough too? So I had a Demon Prince of Tzeentch who decided I'm going to be a Chaos God. So that was the whole premise, is that like one of the Demon Prince that came out of the warp that they fought was a Demon Prince under this, I don't know what you would call him, an interim fucking Chaos God. I don't know.
The weird thing about the lore is the weird thing in the lore, there is other level of gods in the warp. It's just that Tzeentch and all the other big 4 we know are the big primary ones.
Yeah.
So in theory, you can have like 30,000 different minor demons.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to like go. Yeah, I didn't want to flush out the lore so crazy to where the
Well, you could
players
do
get
it,
lost in it.
like this is the I'm guessing your Dark Heresy game is a Ordo Hereticus one or Malice.
Well, it's
Melius.
so it's an only war campaign that's run
Ah.
like a dark, because we use the I don't know I think the only war system's the best one, and especially with the only Astartes homebrew where you can build an Astartes in it. It's just I don't know, it's just all around the best one. I feel like it's the ultimate Uber campaign of good guys, because
No, objectively incorrect. Cinnabar exists.
whatever. But
Well, everybody,
the
that's
know
the end of the
about
session,
Cinnabar?
and we have to kill the Australian for heresy.
well, they're like
You can try.
Well, the Death Watch having the ability to do, like, they have their requisition for missions, and they have their signature war gear, and then the humans being able to use the logistics roles. It just simplifies them getting gear. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, stuff like las guns, like common shit, like las guns, frag grenades, crack grenades. They work for an Inquisitor. I'm like, that shit's on the fucking thing. You just get it. It's on the ship. Just grab them. They're like, what quality are my las guns? I was like, every las gun you see is good quality. It's a fucking Inquisitor. He can afford it. You're fine. It's like, they're just like, oh, really? It's like, thanks, Dad. And I'm like, no problem, guys.
Oh, I'm mean to my
Yeah.
players. I'm
My
very
players
mean.
used to be able to do that on the Dark Heresy game. They used to be able to be like, I'm just going to get a laser gun from the armory. Not anymore, and it's entirely their fault.
Well, it's just, I'm very much in RP, where it's like, it's like I have a continuous campaign, and it's like this Inquisitor has the influence, has the resources and stuff like that. So there's benefits for working for him, but
Oh, yeah,
there's
so
also
there's their
downsides,
Inquisitor.
like the shit you fight.
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that if the players forget to grab something like, so it's something that's simple and common to get, but if you forget to get that, let's say climbing gear, oh no,
yeah,
you
fuck
forgot
'em.
your climbing gear. Fuck it, man. You forgot to just ask to get it, even though it's like 20 pieces of that equipment at on the ship. You forgot to grab it, fucker. I'm not retconning you to get that equipment.
Oh yeah,
but
that's
that's
reasonable.
different. Like, if they forget to go, they get it. If they forget to go before going out on the mission, oh well, they don't have it unless they have some way of transporting it out to them. But if they ask for it on the ship and it's something common like that, yeah, there's 20 pieces on the ship. Just pick it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like, like there's stuff
Like
there's
in
stuff
my
being
weird Dark Heresy colony game, they forgot to grab like chronometers and stuff, like simple stuff that a guardsman would have automatically.
Didn't bring his watch.
Like, and I'm like, okay, you guys didn't ask for it. I'm not going to just say you have it. You did not say you're going to get it. It's available. You would have to actually just go get it.
Yeah,
Chronometer is one of the most powerful items in Only War, though.
Yes,
Because they let you keep track of time in character. Like, all right, in 13 seconds, we're going to open fire. Everyone get into position. Use your chronometers. Sync up. Starting now.
It doesn't get used much in roleplay, but it's actually important.
But you don't need it for that. You can just go into Overwatch.
What do you think?
Yeah, Overwatch doesn't.
Overwatch happens simultaneously.
If you all want to shoot at exactly the same second,
the
enemy for an ambush, Overwatch doesn't actually help you with that.
Yeah. So because Overwatch happens at exactly the same time at the
Overwatch is based on, it gives you a half action to shoot. If you're setting up an ambush, you would use something like a chronometer on your watch, basically. Be like, okay, we're shooting 15 seconds, which is 3 rounds. So in 3 rounds on the map, suddenly everybody gets the surprise attack, and they'll be able to do a full action. They'll basically have had enough time to do a full aim and then shoot and stuff. They'll get maximum. Problem is with Overwatch, it's great if you're kind of like in that situation where you got a speedy boy running around on the map and you need to take him down or get a chance to take him down.
Well, the
Elder.
Well, the Overwatch you
Elder.
can set for a specific area, a specific action, a specific thing. But even
Problem
then,
is it's limiting. You don't
then
get the full maximum.
Yeah, but you don't
modifiers
have to
out of it.
You don't have to, even for the ambush, you don't have to time it. Like the second someone comes into view, unless they actively spend an action to like roll an awareness check to hear you guys or see you, and it would be opposed. If everybody rolled stealth and they're hidden, it doesn't matter because like it's you decide surprise for the sides of the conflict. So it's like if one person shoots,
There's
you all
deciding
get a free
surprise, but
action.
then like let's say there's a convoy or troop movement that's moving through a pathway,
Mm-hmm.
and surprise, they could literally the moment that the enemy walks on the map, they could spin against surprise round then. Or like let's say the players say, we want to wait until 3 rounds, 4 rounds, or so many seconds, 20 seconds, 30
Yeah,
seconds.
till they move further in. I get you.
But that gives the players the option to do that because I know most players don't really like. I know that like having the GM just kind of control the scene, and they're used to it. But I'm one of those ones like, well, you didn't. One of those GMs that goes, well, you didn't specify how you want to do this, so there you go. You didn't specify. That's on you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even like rules as written with like surprise and stuff. Well, like every single round the enemy moves. If they want to spend an action to do awareness checks, then yeah, they potentially have 3 times to hear or see you. But
I think that's kind of metagaming on the GM, though.
No, it's not.
I think we're talking about a very specific situation now. You could also use a chronometer for like working with other people in a wider thing. Say you're assaulting a base. Like, we want the artillery coming in 6 minutes, and we're going to assault in 7. So make sure your chronometers are aligned with the artillery regiment, so they don't accidentally bomb you while you're walking in the front gate. And then you set a schedule over the next 10-15 minutes of what you want done by each squad until the mission's completed. And that only matters for your squad, except for the artillery thing, because everything else is, you really don't need to simulate the entire battle. But it lets you have a schedule and lets the players actually have a way of keeping track of that schedule rather than counting in their head.
And then they give them the ability to influence what you as a GM throw at them, because insert group of only one player.
That's up to the GM.
True, that's up to the GM, but it gives the GM depending on the GM, the ability to affect what the GM throws at them. So, we scheduled, Squad B to assault from the west flank.
Yeah, it helps when you're timing stuff with people you can't see or you're not near. But
even with yourself, because keeping track of time over 10 minutes down to the second is not something most humans can do.
Yeah.
Without getting bits stuck in their head.
Yeah, but
and also it helps the GM a bit because what if the players want to do something that takes that's in roughly 7-8 rounds? They're expecting something. It helps you if you're keeping track of time as a GM and you're in this combat scenario that's going on forever.
Yeah, but it's as far as the ambush thing, it doesn't, unless you're trying to commit multiple ambushes at wide apart from each other. It wouldn't change anything because it's like
in an ambush that would be a bad example. Although I still think using Overwatch in an ambush is not necessarily the best go because it relies on a specific trigger.
Well, yeah, but that's totally depending on whether or not your GM would count that Overwatch as the surprise attack, or if you could get the Overwatch and then do the surprise attack.
No,
then you're trying to cheese out as many attacks as possible. That's like saying, I'm going to Overwatch, and every time somebody breathes, I'm going to shoot them.
Yeah, that's cheesing. In my opinion, that's cheesing actions to use Overwatch as a surprise round.
Yeah, it's up to the GM whether they want to play that way.
I mean, it's it could be used in some circumstances. Like if you had a road where you could have most of the squad.
Oh yeah, if you're waiting for
say you have a mounted gun that is right around the corner.
Overwatch them.
Yeah, it's okay, the mounted gun is on Overwatch. The second they come around the corner, he lights them up, and then the team gets the surprise. And it's okay.
Yeah, that'd be a good use of Overwatch because that's not giving anyone extra actions. Yeah. But giving an entire 2 surprise runs effectively with Overwatch seems like a good way for the players to just do that for everything, every opportunity.
Yeah, everyone basically builds a sneaky boy with 70 fucking agility and max trained out stealth.
I would say the most I would ever let happen with that is that if the person last in the initiative order was the one on Overwatch, it's like, okay, he shoots his Overwatch because the enemy moved right after him, and then I'd give the team their free surprise action, and I would give it to him as well because he's last in the turn order. That's the only time I would let everyone get surprise, and he also gets an Overwatch, is just that last person.
Maybe.
Because I don't think it's like, I'm a GM. I know how to balance. I don't think that one attack's going to fuck me. It's like, it'll be all right. If he's got a missile launcher, he's got a Melta, he's got a flamethrower, I'll be okay. I've accounted for it. It'll be all right.
Yeah. And then he just happens to shoot the one vehicle that has the enemy commander in it, and it gets the tracks, and he goes rearing off the side of a cliff, and he's dead.
Oh, it happens.
Oh well, bad luck.
I've had
Yeah,
I've had
it
a
happens.
commander. I've had like the leader who gives all the buffs and debuffs get crushed
Gets
by a
shot
rock.
out at the beginning.
No, he got crushed by a rock. He got hit by an airstrike. Like, I've had him tagged for any numerous. I have snipers almost in every single campaign, and the most common question I get from them is like, "Who looks important?" I'm like, that guy, third from the left, I guess. He's like, pow.
As a guy who plays as a sniper, usually in a lot of games, the
Always.
GM, not my fault. They're just fun and cheesy. There's nothing about being off the map and the enemy can't respond when you're sniping a pilot out of an L cache.
Mm. It's a big assumption to say that the enemy can't respond. That was not on you. That was the AI. AI support. I just need to stop throwing AIs in my games.
Yeah, Biggs here ran a start SG1 homebrew used for an FFG.
It was Stargate. You guys was at SG2.
Yeah, we were SG2. And roughly in season 1 timeline, we stole 4 L caches, and we contemplated stealing a mothership.
Oh Lord.
We were this close to stealing a mothership.
You were nowhere near stealing a mothership. You weren't even in the hangar. When you reach the bridge, you can say you're close to stealing it.
Yeah. And then, of course, he threw a gone back in time session at us. Ugh.
What was it? I just saw SG1 was on Netflix yesterday. I just saw that. So I'm about to.
Oh, cool.
Did they bring it back to Netflix?
I never knew it was on there. I know they had Farscape on there. That was the shit.
SG1 used to be on there. Then they got kicked off when they had that whole Stargate live stream show, like website where you could watch all of the stuff until they killed it.
Yeah, they I only remember Farscape. I didn't know they had the SG1 and stuff on there. It says it's got freaking 10 seasons.
SG1 has 10 seasons. Stargate Atlantis has 6 seasons. And then the series that shall not be named has 2 seasons.
There's a reason that one only has 2 seasons.
You're talking about Atlantis?
No.
Which one?
Atlantis has 6.
Atlantis was decent. I liked it.
It's the one that tries to copy Battlestar Galactica.
Are you talking about the one where they have the spaceship?
Be quiet.
Isn't one of them from Battlestar Galactica?
The director was
No, I thought that scientist guy was.
Yeah. The one of the actors in Stargate Universes is from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh shit. What was
and also the director, like one of the directors and several of the producers of Battlestar Galactica joined the team creating SGU. Well, look at that, everybody. We went from talking about games to Stargate.
That's just more games.
I was going to say, we're kind of drifting, aren't we?
Well, a lot of my campaign drew a lot of influence from those shows. As Farscape, SG1, even like Mass Effect 2, like the concept of having a home base to come back to, and then having places to go to do missions. that entirety. It's like I can understand that it was because of a show format. It's like every week we got to come back and what are they doing while I'm not watching them? Well, they're fucking at the base, man. It's like, but
We've actually found that with Biggs' SG2 game, it was hard to keep it episodic. Keep it episodic with the timeline. It was kind of hard because of like
No, it was we for the first few missions. I just followed they were just SG2 for the what's it called? Something of the gods. I don't know. The first episode, and yeah, like
we kind of broke it. We broke first episode.
Disagreement about what actually happened, like what the actual law was, and there was stuff that was wrong and whatnot.
We attempted.
It wasn't a big issue, and I didn't want to keep doing that from the start, but that was just going to be where we started at, where everyone was familiar. I knew we weren't going to be able to keep to canon. In fact, doing so would have restricted the players. So
yeah, we didn't stick to canon in the first session.
Just fucked it up. I shot Teal'c, and then I decapitated the blonde chick.
I actually almost killed Teal'c. Actually, in the first session, because my character was a sniper, I almost killed Teal'c.
Oh lordy!
At the beginning of the session.
I was like, we sold military technology to the lesser races so we could get oil and shit off their planet.
And then
that
after
sounds like something my group would have done that.
Yeah. While SG1 is being morally righteous, we're like, oh, you have advanced technology? Bam, 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 bam. Oh, General Hammond.
They were going to definitely join Sergeant Makepeace or Lieutenant Makepeace.
We would have gone NID. We would have definitely gone NID.
How many times were they like, hey, you're an SG team. You don't make decisions for Earth. We make decisions when you come back and report to us. But they totally blew the fuck out of them clone people when they found out that they were killing people who were normal. Like, it was like, what, clones versus, they called them like breeders or something? And he's
the extreme racists, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, they just said fuck it and blew up that race and shit. And I'm like, and then they just left.
That,
the problem
they weren't going to help them.
Yeah, if it was the SG2 game, I think instead of SG1 there, I think we would have supported the clones.
Clone me now.
No, we would have.
Think so.
I want 6 of me.
Might have been okay with it, but I don't see that group being like, yeah, no, racism's okay. Let's support these people.
I think we would have tried to loot goblins through technology.
You would have stolen their technology. You wouldn't have abandoned them. You would have killed them all and stolen everything.
Because it wasn't like a race issue. Because they had like black clones, they had white people for clones, they had men, women. It was like the fact that they weren't clones. Is that a race? No,
genetically pure. It's more of a.
It was specifically racism.
They didn't even have a fact. Like, they didn't hate them because they were just inferior. They hated them because they bred. Like, they weren't from tubes. Like, essentially, that's weird.
Yeah, but they specifically didn't like Teal'c because he walked in and had different skin color. It was not very subtle as to what the
But they had a black guy operating the drones, and they had black people in the cloning tubes when they were looking through them.
Yeah, and one of the command people was black. That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it was specifically people being different. It wasn't exact,
maybe it was because he was a bald black guy and they didn't have one of those.
Yeah, he was quite obviously different.
Remember when they met, they did a genetic background test on everyone in SG1, and Teal'c, because all Jaffa are genetically modified, so everyone else in the
SG1
was pure human.
Oh, maybe
Teal'c wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't know. I haven't watched the episode in years.
They carried the
because only Jaffa can incubate. Because Jaffa have been modified genetically to incubate ghouls.
Snakes in their tum tums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna get back to 40K because Radic's talking about Dark Tide. You guys have seen the trailer, right, for the Dark Tide characters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the ogre and everything like that. Oh yeah.
I don't know.
He's got a tiny toothpick. Why? Where's his bloody ripper gun?
I don't know the guns. I want to use.
I'm not interested in Dark Tide, sadly.
What? You don't like Space Hulk?
Yeah, that's because you're a terrible person, Corin.
The problem with me is Dark Tide is just basically playing what is that, the Warhammer Fantasy one?
Vermintide? Yes.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Just the 40K weekend Vermintide.
Space Hulk was.
Vermintide was fun. but I'm sorry, I'm not gonna pay $60 for a reskin of a game.
Oh, that's
If only there was
hold
some
on.
kind of other
You
option.
if you watch the trailers for that, it is
Yeah, it does
definitely
look
not
quite
a
I'm
reskin.
sorry. What are we in the 1990s here, where
It is
trailers is
definitely
what we go by?
That's like saying Space Hulk is but the trailers had
Space
actual
Hulk has
gameplay.
the gaming community for Space Hulk has died out because it's repetitive as fuck.
Well, no, they don't have matchmaking.
Like, I'm sorry, but I look at Dark Tide
Yeah,
and I go,
repetitive is that much of
oh.
a problem.
I'm like,
As long as what you're repeating is fun.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay $60 for a reskinned 40K version of Vermintide. Okay, cool. You sap
You didn't
sucker.
look hard enough because I've played.
Y'all can
Vermintide.
you can spend $60 on Dark Tide. I'll stick with Vermintide. I'm good.
I've played Vermintide. I've played Space Hulk. I've played Left 4 Dead, and they are definitely the same concept when you boil it down to it. But there is definitely enough there that is not the same. You know, the fact that you like just looking at the weapons, like melee combat's gonna be the same shit. How many different ways can you have someone get hit with a sword or a hammer? There's not many. Like, you're gonna run out. But like, just looking at the weapons, I hope you can customize.
It is nice to see the 40K weapons actually look represented decently.
The last gun had a lot of different attachments on it. I mean, the automatic stubber. No, wait, what was that? That was an auto gun. That had a bunch of different attachments on it. Like, I'm hoping you can customize it, but if you can't, I'm not going to hate it. So, I mean,
we'll see when it comes out.
Yeah, because
that's what it comes out.
Speculation.
So I'm kind of basically trying to avoid the hype train because, in my opinion, Dark Tide is kind of like Cyberpunk. It doesn't really deserve the hype train anymore. Like,
I don't. Well, I mean,
Dark
Tide
games just don't deserve hype anymore. I'm sorry,
Dark Tide didn't even try to build.
I guess maybe about 30 years
stop
worth
being angry, Nancy. Get on the hype train and get disappointed like the rest of us.
Yeah, but like Cyberpunk was thirsty for that hype. Dark Tide has released 2 trailers and that's it. They haven't really done anything. They haven't debuted
but the
demos.
fan base is hyping up Dark Tide. Is like, if this is the second coming of fucking gaming Jesus, and I'm just like,
that second trailer showed how close they are to be. If they're not done already and just basically touching it up, they're pretty close to being done. Because that gameplay was pretty much I mean, fuck it. It's fine in my
I don't know.
books.
I've seen games that have really good pre-release gameplay footage, and then when the game comes out, it is completely horrible dog shit looking. We can pull up, like Watch Dogs, or what is that game where you explore the universe?
Oh, like
you mean No Man's Sky?
Yeah,
No Man's Sky. Remember how the pre-release gameplay footage looked like awesome, and then when the game came out, it was dog shit.
Yeah, but 40K games...
dog shit actually looked better than what No Man's Sky looked like when it came out.
40K games 40K games have issues with gameplay fundamentals. Like, they're not fun to play, or there's an issue where people just don't want to play.
I
don't
will
really
agree
have
that
graphical hoo-has. They normally take
I
their
will
time.
think I do think that that Dark Tide game mechanically is going to be well.
Who the fuck is making Dark Tide, actually? Let me look that up.
Same people who made Vermintide?
No idea. Probably. Given that
it's the same company. That's really why I said it's a reskin of Vermintide, because it's the same team making it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's have other people make it just so it isn't called a.
Hold on. Yeah, they made all the Vermintides. Yeah, shut up, Corn. You're invalid. I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't give a shit anymore. You know what? It's fuck you.
The fact is that they literally reskinning Vermintide is not an issue.
It's perfectly fine. I don't give a shit.
Don't fuck it up by giving it to other people and trying to reinvent the wheel. Get the people who make the best wheels and get them to make the wheels again.
Yeah, Fat Sharks. Fucking Fat Sharks. They made
Vermintide. Just because, you know what, they wouldn't make
them.
I hope the game does well. I really do, because
let's go.
Look, I hope Dark Tide does succeed. But until it actually comes out and we can see what it looks like on YouTube, I'm going to say hold the brakes on the hype train, and
If they deliver what they're doing, though, like just a 40K version of Vermintide, we in there, boy. Like, that's all we need.
I don't know. I see. I've had 30 years of gaming companies basically, rub my face and shit and say, "Look at this! Look at our new shiny game."
Stop playing EA games, then.
You make inappropriate financial decisions. That's not my fault. Stop blaming the things I love.
Well,
GW's finally stepping up to make me happy, and it's with this fucking video game.
Well, somebody's been smoking. Somebody's been sniffing the paint thinner.
I'm hoping.
Hey, listen, it's time to shit on GW, everybody.
Yeah, I hope it's not a $60 price point. I hope it's not. It probably will be, but I think probably like $39.99 or $49.99.
If it's $39.99, I will actually buy
I'll be lucky if it's less than $60.
Well, you're Australian. You have Australian funny money.
Yeah, you got like Monopoly money or something.
You're Australian. Your money value system.
You Americans and you Canadians have funny bloody Monopoly money. Ours is plastic and doesn't.
You get paid in butter lettuce. Just stay back. You get paid in butter lettuce and glass pieces. Leave me alone.
Where the hell did that come from?
That's a reference right there, boy. That's a reference to earlier conversation.
That's a pre-podcast reference for those watching.
But they'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's good. I know the people who are making
we haven't made our obligatory GW shit on comment moment section.
We'll get to it in a few minutes. I'm going to talk about the video games a little bit more. What because the people who are making they made Deathwing. I keep calling it Space Hulk, but it's not. It's Deathwing.
Because there's
Space Hulk's different.
Yeah,
Space Hulk's fun.
I mean, it's
Space Hulk's fault. Deathwing isn't.
Deathwing's fucking dope. No, Deathwing was it. I felt like it's Terminator. They did an amazing job. If I dumped 80 hours into it.
Can I have whatever dealer you got so I can get that good ass shit?
If you think Deathwing is shit, then you are sorely mistaken. That's an amazing game. It's like, yeah, there's not a lot of people playing it. It didn't have like in-game voice, so it's like you had to basically find
no in-game
friends.
Voice.
No, so
it
didn't have matchmaking. You would basically just join random people's lobbies, and then if you can type in chat, and if they wanted to, you could hop in Discord. But yeah, it's hard to find people to play. But I dumped 80 hours into that with 3 friends, and I mean, dude, I felt like a fucking Space Marine Terminator. I mean, the sound design, the gameplay, like they nailed it. But yeah,
so they had good gameplay mechanics, but they failed to implement the stuff necessary for a multiplayer based game, which is voice chat, proper navigation for multiplayer.
They didn't give you the support to play with others, which sucks.
Which basically defeats of having a multiplayer game, right?
But they weren't the people who made Vermintide. They were just some other company. But
it was a good game. Yes, it is a good game,
and it sounded amazing. But they're making an Inquisitor game next, so I'm a little excited because you know what? It's like. If they're not going to do the multiplayer game, it's like if they're not going to do the stuff to support co-op or multiplayer or whatever, just give me a really fucking good single player experience. Like, just make. But
the problem is that the problem is that they haven't shown any experience on how to make a single player game because they're really the storyline in Deathwing is not much non-existent. There's not much there.
The storyline is you are Space Marine. There is thing that belongs to you on Hulk.
That doesn't really show they have the skill to write a plot.
They kept it real simple, and you know what? That simplicity worked when it came to delivering the experience. So it's like
for a Space Hulk like game
isn't bad. It doesn't need to be the next Mass Effect as long as the story is self-satisfying.
Remember the first Dead Space game? The first Dead Space game. The first Dead Space game was like every mission is essentially like go here, turn this on, kill some things. And that's exactly what you're doing in Deathwing. Go here, turn this on, kill some things.
The difference is with Dead Spaces, the player would explore the map, and you would get tons of information that the player actively had to go out and collect. With Deathwing, for Deathwing, not having much of a story or a plot is perfect in that setting. But what
Yeah.
happens when you have an Inquisition or Inquisitor game where the whole point of the story is intrigue, heresy, traitors, and stuff like
Well,
that,
yeah,
debauchery?
you're
Like,
not gonna
this is going to have to be
be.
an AO game because this is
Yeah.
40K. If it's not if it's better than Inquisitor and it's not AO, I'm going to be like, okay, what's in it? Because
Well, I mean, Well, I mean, because it is going to be drastically different from what it was. It's like, you know what, they were delivering an experience that I feel like they succeeded, but as far as keeping their game alive with, like, the longevity of their game, they just didn't invest in it
they
in the right way.
failed.
Yeah,
They
but it's like, you know what, they were like, you're a tank, you're fighting shit, you're dealing with gene stealers and shit. It's crazy. I'm like, okay,
But the
cool.
problem
Yeah.
is, it does show there's a failure within the company that the people who made the game, excellent motherfuckers. Those guys are awesome. But clearly, when it came to let's try to keep the game alive and make profitability off of this
I think
in the
they
long
made their
term, they
money.
failed.
I think they
Well-
made their money. Otherwise, they wouldn't be making a second one for GW.
Well, they made the
Yeah.
money in the first 3 months, and then when the
Hey.
community died, they really haven't made any sales in a while.
Yeah, well, then that just means you don't have a reason to update it. It's like, that's it.
Yeah.
You made your
But they-
money. You did the updates.
By
now
fairly
you
But that
move on
is
to the
the
next
stuff,
thing.
But
they-
isn't but when
They
you
shot
can say
themselves in the foot with tenure. Yeah, I
but it's
think
not
done that to death.
But when you say that's a concern, that if a company's willing to make a good game mechanically, but not give a shit about longevity, so that way they
I-
make their money in 3 months,
I
and then they
I
say
paid
fuck it.
I paid $40 and I got 80 some hours of entertainment from it. I don't know, because I got everything I needed from it. I don't have to play that
Yeah.
game ever again. I don't.
I don't know. I'm in my 30s. I don't have time to make 80 hours. So when I get maybe 20 hours at most into a game, in between, I'm hoping to get 10 hours.
Hey, if a game
I want
can
my
keep me
game. I
coming
want my
back-
game to
if they can
like
keep me coming
Biggs,
back an hour or two a night until I hit 80 hours and then I don't want to play it ever again, I got my money's worth.
You do,
If I
but
played
I
it for
want to
3
be able to
months,
be
I'm
like,
good.
hey, Biggs, let's game up on insert game here. Oh no, we can't because the system mechanics that lets us work to play together don't exist. It's not a worthwhile game.
It was original, like, multiplayer setup, like with GameSpy and stuff. It was like you create a lobby and then
That's
random
old school.
people could join. Yeah, but it's like, most of the time, if people didn't know you, they wouldn't just hop in. But there's no way to communicate them without typing. So it's like most people just randomly start jumping into games. There's no real cohesion.
Which,
or
if this
working
was the
together.
late 90s, early 2000s, that's perfectly fine multiplayer.
Yeah.
I remember the days of when, you had to haul your computer to your friend's house to LAN connect to play the same game
you
together.
You want LAN Halo? Let's go, man. I'm this.
And
I
I remember those days. I'm like, thank God for the internet. Like, a lot of these youngins, y'all don't know the suffering of hauling around a 50-pound computer just to LAN. They have LAN battles.
Yeah.
Land.
But I mean, yeah, the Inquisitor one. I hope they
Yeah.
fuck it. I don't even want co-op. Just give me a really driven story and linear plot. Like, I just want it to be like, classic Halo. Like, I don't really need to explore. Sure, let me drive a vehicle around if you really want to, but to be honest, I don't need to explore. Just let me follow a linear storyline and get delivered a really good story. Like Spec Ops: The Line, that still stays in my head, and it's a straight linear story.
Yeah, I agree. You don't need an open world, but having a linear path that the player follows completely.
With well-defined, like, NPCs and background characters and stuff like that. Like, have it make sense. Like, I don't want that classic Dawn of War moment where everybody and their mother shows up on the same planet. Like, I'm tired of that. I don't want to see 8 to 12 races from 40K on the same planet. Like, give me 2 or 3 maybe. But it's like, I don't want to run in everything. It's like, maybe maybe have some, I got to deal with some people who are possibly heretical, and then,
No, the
fuck
chaos
it.
of a battlefield like that, though. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've got like 8 enemies out here.
Yeah.
I have no idea where we should be attacking or
It's like,
defending.
this planet's being invaded by orcs, and the but it was a
The Tyranids and the
Tau-occupied
Tau
planet.
and the Necrons.
Oh, the Necrons
the-
woke up. It's like, oh
That's
my
the
God.
kind of situation as the Imperium in their place in the galaxy. You just sit back, wait for somebody to win, and then attack them while they're weak because you've got time.
Yeah, or you're attacking something while it's weak, and 7 other fucking races show up because they saw you being weak.
Yeah.
Or there's 2 options: either the Empire falls back and just waits, or they just go, "Wait a minute, let's just exterminate this planet." There's like
Blow it up.
7 different factions fighting over this
The
one
second
planet.
I found Necrons living underneath it, I'd blow it up. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Blow that shit up.
Yep.
That's pretty much your only option
need no
with the
Toon World
Necrons
out there.
anymore.
Mm-mm. Put something in the core. Blow that shit in half. I don't care.
You could try diplomacy. Crazy.
Oh yeah, they made the Necrons more like people now. They're less robotic murder machines.
Terminators.
Now you can discuss with them and have diplomacy. Fuck that.
I don't know, like I think there should be a faction within the Necrons that's more diplomatic.
They
And by
have
diplomatic-
factions now. That's what happened.
No, there's always been factions within the Necrons.
No, there've been like
Yeah.
they had
They
like
had
houses.
houses.
Yeah, but
yes, those are
now
factions, in my opinion.
Yeah, but
You're still
now
not
they're-
talking to a Necron warrior. The Necron warrior is still just a death machine that they keep in a box until they need everything dead.
yeah, but no, like
Like,
they
yeah,
had,
if they have like Necron warriors having full-on conversation, I would call GW heretical and
it's
declare
not-
that.
it's not.
Oh, you
that
called
bad.
GW heretical anyway.
Yes, GW is fucking heretical.
It's
Fuck.
it's
See,
not that bad. The
Fuck
Necrons-
Robot Girly Man and his elven waifu bitch.
the Necrons had houses, but they weren't like political anymore.
No, yeah, they were.
No, they didn't. They didn't fucking
The lords
discuss
are.
with each other.
The
and stuff.
Necron
yeah, the
lords
Necron
are
lords
political.
did a little bit, but now it's to
But-
the point where they make.
But each
treaties and
Necron
shit.
Lord was usually a different house, which
Yeah,
was
but
usually
now they make
symbolized by
treaties
color.
with meatbags. Who the fuck does that?
Eh,
Fucking meatbags.
fuck
Yeah.
meatbags. But you know what? I'm a meatbag, so pro meatbag. Wait,
I mean, no, man. It's I'm one of those people
well,
that's
everybody,
never.
it's confirmed. Gordo here is actually a anti.
I'm not anti-meatbag. I am
Uh-uh.
pro-metal.
I'm one of those people that's never like in the middle. It's like if I'm gonna be
Well-
on the Necron side, fuck
So everybody,
every living
when
thing. If I'm gonna be
so
on
when
the human
Skynet
side,
takes over, you're
I
going to
say
be
fuck
one of those
everything that's
traitors,
not
aren't
human.
you? So you're going to be one of those
Yeah.
traitors, aren't you? When Skynet takes over, huh? You're
Nah,
going to
I mean,
support the machine.
they'd have to prove that they could put me in a machine body. Otherwise, I'm gonna be all humans. Let's go. Fuck the robots. I'll smash my phone right now. I don't give a shit. I mean, I only play one game on my phone, and it's Calculator, so I don't give a shit.
What?
What? You don't have that?
That's a good. That's a
Yeah.
good game. Calculator.
I'll fuck that
Yeah, that's
game
a
up.
good
It's
game.
great, man.
Yeah.
But,
Next thing I know, you're going to say you use.
Just
you
let him
played
have his
Minesweeper
shiny
still.
math rock.
yeah, math rock. Yeah, the math rocks go click clack when you roll
Yeah.
them. That's one thing, man. I'm gonna be honest. I actually do miss physically, like holding dice and rolling them. I'm not gonna
Oh
lie.
God, yeah.
I miss that. I miss all that shit. I just fuck, man. I sold my 40K armies too, so it's like I haven't held a model that's been plastic. Like I have these models from Spectre Miniatures, which are modern guys, you know, like Marines and Taliban and stuff. I have those and they're pewter, but I haven't touched like a resin model in like 3 years, and I'm like, I was like,
Wow.
"Ah."
See, I still buy BattleTech models, and they're made in metal. So I gotta deal with
yeah,
that.
that's what the pewter ones are. They're like this fucking
Shiny metal rock.
yeah. It's
yeah.
like but it's like a little bit more, you know, malleable. Like you can kind of even the thick parts of the model, you can kind of heat up with a lighter and move them if you need to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, computer's easy to work with.
I mean, but you're talking.
But it's kind of nice though, because it's. I think, to be honestly, pewter's a lot better medium than like lead or using like a hard metal or
yes,
resin.
it is better
Yeah,
than
that's a hard
fucking
metal.
lead.
a harder metal than pewter or resin. Because in my opinion, with resin, like whatever the company decided to make the model look like, or if the models, what's it called? The mode is shitty. You're pretty much stuck with that. But with pewter, you can like kind of modify it up a bit.
Fucking file it and stuff. I mean, I use platinum to be honest for my models. Lot more
I
expensive.
use uranium. I was told to stop. I didn't.
I use human hair Mostly from him because he uses uranium. But
Well, one's glowing in the dark. The other one is under investigation of potentially of human sacrifices.
yeah,
Everything's good. Everything's good.
Yeah, it's like
No, I'm not.
It's
Where
like
do you think I got the human sacrifices from?
I wanna get back into the models. I mean,
Yeah.
I loved everything about the hobby of painting, playing, putting them
But
together.
the
I think
problem
I
is
own
there's
like
time.
6 fantasy orc models. Like not Warhammer at all, just generic fantasy orc models. And a couple of hero-looking ones. And that's the total model collection. All of them cheap plastic. Not even painted.
Well, you're
Yeah.
cheap Aussies, so what do we expect?
Well, it's like
I never got any
it's
models.
like, I've dabbled in like so many fucking tabletop games. Like I used to play Mordheim. I used to play the kill teams before the official stuff started coming out. Played
So all
40K,
Games
played
Workshop stuff?
fantasy. I played Hail Caesar. I still have like a 200.
Wait,
man
you played
standing-
Hail Caesar too?
Yeah, I have like a 200 man standing army for Romans, and I have like 150 Spartans.
Oh fuck
Nice.
yeah, nice man.
Yeah, I played Hail Caesar. I played fucking Bolt Action, Black Powder. I played Flames of War. I played Memoir 44. That's just a straight up fucking board game. I've played a lot of stuff. Munchkin. Played a shit ton of RPGs. It's just,
Munchkin is fun. Munchkin is
it
fun
is.
because
but you have to be a fan. Like you have to know what it is, or like you don't grab random family members and play Munchkin because I fucking tried and they're boring. as shit.
Munchkin without dedicated hardcore players is boring.
Yeah, because they have all the expansions there. They make fun of like 40K, a lot of 80s movies, everything. Like you just do funny shit in that, and
That's the game that for me, if I want to just fuck around and just play, that's what Munchkin is for me.
Yeah, it was good. It's like I was drawn to games that require very little to play. That's why I picked up the Fantasy Flight games, because when Death Watch came out, that's one I started with. And I was like, what do I need? And I looked through the book and I was like, oh, you to play as a fucking Space Marine? Let's go, fam. And I'm like,
for me,
you just needed a single die 10. 2 if you wanted to be fancy. But you only needed 1. I was like, what?
True.
I was like, D&D, I need like 17 fucking dice. And that's if I carry like a bow and a dagger. I was like, fucking shit.
It's not that bad in D&D. You need, for most characters, 3 dice. Wizards need a lot of dice. Paladins
or fighters.
need extra dice.
It is just dependent
No,
on
fighters
what
only. I've never met a fighter who used more than 1 weapon unless they were forced to.
Oh, I've run into a
us
bunch
fighters,
of players.
we
They
rarely
might
ever.
carry around 7 weapons, but I've never seen like somebody.
Oh,
I know it's probably
they never
happened.
use them, but they get the dice
Yeah.
because they need them. And it's like you'll see them. It's like, okay, I got a great sword.
But define
I have a-
me.
I have
Just
an-
because I'm carrying
I have
one
a
of
long
every
sword.
different weapon damage type.
I have a fucking
know.
dagger. I have a long bow. I have a short bow. And I'm like, why do you
But-
need all this stuff? I was like, because I have a bag of holding. I was like, all right. Okay,
No
I
fighter
guess.
worth their salt needs
Bag of holdings
bag of holding
in
to
D&D are
carry an entire armory.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Bag of holdings are bad and dangerous because it encourages either the loot goblin or the idiot who carries around the armory.
Yeah. Well, that's why I love the Only Astartes homebrew, because it made a chart that specifically tells you exactly how many inventory slots you have. Like it breaks down to the point where it's like you can only carry this many primary weapons, and it counts like a knife, a bolt pistol, and a bolter as primary weapons. So it's like,
A knife is a primary. That sounds bad.
yeah, so it's like, well, there's no like secondary weapons. It's like okay, you have 3 weapon slots, and it's like,
So it's just how many weapons you can have.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay,
I don't know, man. That's
it's-
kind of shitty because being able to be told you can only have a knife is one of your primary weapons options.
This guy's carrying 3 knives. This guy's carrying a heavy bolter, a plasma cannon, and a great sword.
Yeah, so
That's a
like
power weapon.
you also had a backpack slot. So it'd be like, okay, I want a heavy bolter. I have the backpack ammo pack, and then I want my knife and a bolt pistol. And then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I want my chainsaw.
But a bolt
my
pistol's
bolt
a
pistol.
sidearm. It's not a primary weapon.
Let me fucking pull this up, to be honest. Because if it wasn't 3, it was 4. But to be honest, when you see it in motion, like it works. Like whoever this
You're just doing a terrible job of selling the system.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're doing a horrible job.
I don't have to sell it. No,
it's
it's one of them things. It's like someone trying to sell water. It's like I know what it's worth. I don't give a shit who else uses it.
Gordo, just never become a used car salesman because you would starve.
No, I don't sell cars. I worked for Sears and I sold.
No, I said don't become a used car salesman because you would starve to death. You know?
I mean, I don't eat cars. I don't understand.
You don't eat cars.
This is so strange. Is this
What
a
do you do
Canadian thing?
with your old cars? If not eat them.
Why does it have to be
pre-owned?
pre-owned? Why does it have to be pre-owned if I'm going to eat it? That's so weird. You're funny.
They're kind of expensive to eat new, but like if you want to throw around that kind of cash, I'm sure the dealership won't mind.
Here it is. Yeah, standard weapon slots. You get 3, and that includes any pistol, basic weapon, one-handed melee weapon. Two-handed melee weapon counts as 2 slots, and a heavy weapon also counts as 2 slots. And then you have one
I don't think
heavy weapon.
a pistol or a knife should count the same amount of slots as a standard bolter. Heavy weapons taking up 2 makes sense though.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing: is that
I can say like you can have one sidearm and
you can use your back slot as a heavy weapon location. So if you want to use a missile launcher instead of a heavy bolter with the ammo pack, you can put the missile launcher on your back, and then you still have 3 standard weapon slots. So you can get a bolter, a pistol, and a knife. But I mean,
that's cheesy.
But it still works out fine. It really does.
I mean, it doesn't sound like it's going to destroy the game. It's just kind of like, okay, I'm carrying a knife and a pistol. That's 2/3 of my weapon slots.
Yeah, but
and I can throw something on my back if you want.
You have a slot dedicated to specifically chapter trapping, so it's like if you really wanted to, you could just make a knife for chapter trapping.
Yeah, but then I don't get a chapter trapping.
No, I'm pretty sure if I'm not
Look, man, I just want to carry 6 knives into combat as an starting. Why can't I do this?
Yeah, and then chuck them at the enemy. Go. Phew, 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 phew.
All right, I'm done. I'm going home. Bye.
It's like, and it gives you it breaks it down specifically. It's like you have 12 grenades or magazine slots. So each magazine is considered a slot. Each grenade.
I can see a limitation on the number of magazines you could carry, but I've
the
never really had
limitations makes sense, man. It makes sense, period, with all of.
But
this
I've
stuff.
never had a game where, as a player, I've had more than maybe 4 or 5 grenades at most.
And what assault marine? Well, okay, like you can get your pistol, your power sword, and your knife, or it's like okay, 2 chain swords, a bolt pistol. Like if they have their melee weapon, why would they give a shit about their knife? It's like if it really comes down to it, what are they taking where they're not taking the knife? You know, like are they really going to be 2 melee weapons?
But think about it. What if
like
let's say you're. Think about it. The knife is,
it doesn't sound like it breaks the game. It's just I disagree with the fact that it takes the same amount of slots as
I disagree too.
A full-sized standard weapon.
Because a knife is also a utility item for other things.
But it's not particularly important unless you're playing only Astartes. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what the reasoning for that specifically is because it's like I understand having a back slot, for if you want to carry another heavy weapon or if you're carrying a backpack ammo supply or a jump pack. Like I understand that. But yeah, I don't understand why standard weapons is including like I don't know why there's not a primary and secondary slot. Cuz if you had 2 primary slots and then 2 secondary slots, it's like okay, so he can carry a pistol and a knife or 2 knives or 2 pistols and then his primary weapon slot could only be okay, 2 chain swords or 2 bolters or a power sword and a bolter. Like it's because you can't bump standard weapon slots to 4 because then people would have, if I do that math, that means my backpack could be a heavy weapon. So I have a missile launcher. I can now carry a heavy bolter with the box ammo. And then I can also carry a las cannon.
No,
why not?
What you do is you.
You wouldn't want someone carrying.
You can't be doing that.
No, you can't. But the thing about it is, it's the backpack. The backpack area. That's how you limit it, right there. Because, like, if you're having backpack ammo, you can't put anything else there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so if I did heavy flamer, heavy bolter, and missile launcher, they don't require backpack ammos. If I had an extra standard weapon slot to
which
be able
means
to carry
then
the
they
knife,
couldn't
I could
do
do
it.
that.
You would have
Yeah.
to select one of them because they all require the backpack ammo slot.
No,
So you
heavy
can only
bolter
select
doesn't.
one.
It can rock box mags.
Yeah.
Missile launcher
no
does not
weapon,
require a heavy a backpack slot. It's actually
from
preloaded.
what I remember, no weapon in any of the books comes standard with backpack ammunition except for hell guns and hell pistols.
The only ones
Everything else,
the only
backpack ammo was an upgrade.
The only one that requires it is the multi-melta and the last cannon and the plasma cannon. Those are the three that require them. I think.
No, last cannon has a charge pack. It's a big charge pack, but it doesn't have much ammo in it.
Yeah, but I thought those ones specifically required the backpack.
Yeah, if
ammo
you're a
supply for
human,
Overwatch.
that's not a space marine.
You might be
have a-
thinking
I've never had anyone
only in
get them.
studies.
I've never had anyone get a heavy weapon in Deathwatch and not get the ammo supply. So I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure. I know the heavy bolter does because I have a guy who switches from the ammo pack to a box of Kraken rounds so that he doesn't have to carry an ammo back of Kraken rounds. He just swaps to this smaller pack.
See?
So I don't actually know if the last cannon has to have the ammo pack or the plasma cannon or the multi-melta because anyone who used them got it, whether or not it came with it or not. So I have to look that up, see if it does. But yeah, I feel like you have to have a limitation, and it makes sense because like otherwise,
From a player's perspective, you just spoke heresy.
yeah, fuck them, fuck the players. I'm very RP. If
Players can get over it.
If it doesn't look right in my head, if I'm picturing a space marine with 4 heavy weapons on him, and it looks stupid, I don't want to do it. I'm like it's I gotta have stuff that keeps me immersed at least a little bit. For me, immersion does help with the story and stuff. And it's like there's moments to be funny, there's moments to joke around and shit talk and stuff like that. But it's like if I got a space marine running around, or like space marines being like, oh well, I could lift a tank. With stuff like that, I RP it. It's like, yeah, you can lift a Lehman Russ, but the second you grab that panel, guess what? That side panel of a Lehman Russ cannot support the weight of a Lehman Russ, so you rip the panel free. It's like there's stuff you
have to pick it up by its tracks, which is designed to support its weight, or its axles.
Yeah, but even then, it's not designed to be just wretched and lifted up. You're still gonna pull it free. Yeah. It's like
because
it's like
it's
lifting
designed
up
to hold its weight over
large...
a wide area, not your hand.
Well, it's like if your car is made out of styrofoam. The second you lift it up by any part you grab with your hands, it's gonna break. It's just awkward.
Yeah.
It's gonna be too weighted to one side.
Yep.
So it's like stuff like that. It's like I get it. It's like you should be able to. It's
you
like,
have
I'm
the physical
a
strength.
I should be able to carry all this and stuff like that. I had someone. He was like, I want to carry all 6 of these last cannons that the NPCs died on. I want to get them all. I'm like, why? And he goes, we might need them. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, you're an Ultramarine, not a Blood Raven. Like, you know that, right? And he's like, yeah, but I want to take. And I'm like, fuck it. And he goes, all right, I'm going to shoot him with one of the last cannons. I'm like, you can't. He goes, what do you mean? I was like, you're carrying 6 last cannons. You don't have any free hands. He goes, no, I'll put them on my back or something. I'm like, dude, you're carrying them like a bundle of firewood. How else would you be able to carry these things?
Yeah.
I got magnets. What?
That's an actual upgrade, though. That's the magnets.
Mag strips are an upgrade. They come standard on Astartes armor in a lot of cases.
Yeah, but it's.
So I think on the armor itself, you have the attachment, but you need to add it to the weapon too.
It's like Master Chief. Like he's got magnets that act like holsters. Space Marines have that. I can put a knife on my hip and it stays. I can put a bolt pistol on my hip and it stays, which is like, okay, cool. The dipole maglock is like you have it to where I think they put something in the glove as well, and it doesn't just magnetize it to your hip, it will push it away. So it'll shoot it into your hand. And if you have quick draw, that means your weapon will immediately go into your hand as a free action.
Actually, on Astartes equipment, why does everyone forget that their power armor is controlled by their brain, by their brain impulses, and it's directly neurally interfaced with them. Everyone seems to forget that.
Is it the power weapon?
No, their armor itself, the power armor.
Yeah.
It's like it's plugged into their brain.
Well, the Power Fist is supposed to do that as well. It requires a lot more concentration, but there was supposed to be. I don't remember if it was fucking the chapter master of the Ultramarines, but there was a story of an Ultramarine who became so attuned to his Power Fist that he could literally touch a child's face with one finger on the Power Fist and kill a fly that was on his thumb on the same hand.
That's a lot of self-control.
Yeah, because you could just control where the field went to.
Must have gone through a lot of
Whether or
children.
not that was whether or not that was true, it was crazy.
Yeah, how many children did he go through this process?
Yeah, whether or not that was just
that.
It's like I really do wish there were like stories like that, like a lot more stories like that.
No,
in the Space Marines,
tough. Throw around pillars of Necron tech.
Well,
Must be
like,
strong.
Well, it's like
control and delicacy is not Space Marine. He angy.
Well, it's the whole thing of like like in our modern military and stuff like that. There's stories that are they're blown out of proportion. They're either exaggerated or they're just sometimes just fucking completely wrong.
Chaos. Chaos doesn't actually exist. That's just to make the lies made up by heretics and traitors.
Chaos doesn't exist. Change my mind.
The Inquisition would like to talk to you about this chaos thing you're saying doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
You're right.
There's
so
just
stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. It doesn't exist.
But I'm not talking about it.
You just got a guy outside the Golden Throne, and he's just holding a sign that said the Emperor did Horus Heresy. Prove me wrong.
He would be executed so quickly.
It's like Bush's 9/11, but it's the Emperor.
I can see like the fucking custodians just suddenly appearing.
Oh, that guy would disappear. Also, because he was using.
I wouldn't bother sending custodians. The Abides would probably disappear that guy pretty quickly, or just an automated defense turret. Just
if the sign was made out of paper, they'd have to like kill him and find out where he got it from.
Yeah,
paper doesn't exist. Change my mind.
Inquisition campaign. A guy was holding a sign that had heresy on it. Now you must find the manufacturing point.
Hey, babe. Hey.
Ooh, that would actually be quite a plot twist right there. One of you actually made it.
What? Okay. I don't remember doing this. What are you talking about?
Okay, I gotta finish this up.
We have the video proof right here, Steve.
Fucking Steve.
Fucking Steve. All right. Well, I think we've gone 30 minutes over. Though I think I can't even talk no more. It's a brain do go bad now. So I think I'm gonna call it here for this time.
Oh, your brain had gone bad about almost 40 minutes ago.
Gone do badner. But yeah, Dark Tide. Everybody's gonna buy it. It's gonna be awesome. We're all gonna play together.
Boo.
Nah, man. Vermintide had good co-op support. It's gonna be awesome. Shush.
Boo.
Maybe we'll
stop being a negative Nancy.
We'll hype
success
it up.
Or dead until it comes out.
Yeah, we'll hype it up. We'll all get it, and I'll get an extra person. All four of us are gonna. One of the podcasts will just be us playing that for like a couple hours. There you go.
That'd be fun.
Do that on launch day or whenever the hell it's coming out. When's it coming out? Did they say?
Never.
No, shut your mouth.
Never.
I'll drown you in a toilet. You shush.
You can't ground a GM into dust. For I am immortal.
I can. I can ground you to dust in real life if you want.
Oh, lordy.
Okay, that sounded kind of.
It says 2021, so.
That's all right. So probably if it's not going to be
probably
for the
22
holidays,
then. Probably
if
22.
it's not going to be the
all the way
holidays,
next
it's going to be
year.
March.
It'll be in the year 2022 when they actually announced that they're releasing it.
Well, it's going to be either April, March, or it's going to be for the holidays.
Next year, the next year, after next year.
Yeah, because it's funny. Games are either trying to get them out before March and April, or they just do it for the holidays. But we'll see. We got I had to reschedule.
See, the reason why I don't care about Dark Tide is because I'm a Homeworld 3 guy. That's the only game I'm caring about.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, but you're terrible. It's an old real-time strategy 3D space thing where you running around in a ship trying to not get your species blown up, which happens to be human,
Spore?
of course.
This came out in the 90s.
Spore is completely different. Spore
XCOM?
No,
that's a tactical
real time
strategy.
Kingdom Hearts
Yeah, that's
2?
a tactical squad-based strategy game.
You gotta build a ship in Kingdom Hearts 2. That's cool.
Okay,
Nice.
imagine.
So same thing.
Okay, you know how like most gaps.
It is a space RTS.
It's a space RTS where you actually have a Z, Y, and X axis to worry about.
Yes, 3 dimensions.
EVE Online?
Yeah.
Look,
No,
I am
it's an RTS, not a single player.
Battlefront 2, the campaign?
You're a terrible person.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Gordo,
I'll get
at
with
times
you
I
guys
wonder, have you ever grew up or had a real childhood?
I mean, it happened. That was cool.
Did it? Did it happen?
I don't know, man. We could all be in the. People think we're in programs and stuff. They say
Well, we are,
only
right,
one
George?
out of.
How would you
They
know?
say only 1 out of 10 people that you meet are actually human. That's what some. There was a documentary on that. People actually believe that shit. That they're in a
Wow,
computer
Gordo's been
program.
watching too much Alex Jones.
That's Alex Jones. Forget that. Don't even mention that stuff. That goes down a weird road. He's a weird guy.
You turned the freaking the frogs gay.
Yes, Alex Jones turned the frogs gay.
Everybody turns frogs gay. But yeah, I had to reschedule last week. Baby girl got an ear infection, so I got Ven.
Everything good?
Yeah, she's better now. She's on her medication now, so we're dealing with that little
good.
drops in the ear.
See what happens when you sacrifice a goat to young people? You get an ear infection. Sacrifice a goat of the proper age.
Yeah, we had to clip her nails. She's like scratching her ear in her sleep, and she was causing herself. Yeah, she's like 8 months old, and her little nails are a little too long, and we clipped them today. But
What do you think the word baby means, Corin?
yeah, but she was sleeping, and well, I mean, because like she sleeps in her crib. So
I don't know.
I'm like, unless somebody,
what do you think
coming in and
a
scratching her
baby
ear
goat is
for
called?
her.
They actually call them babies.
Yeah, but
So, Gordo might have had a baby goat for all I knew.
yeah, no, I don't have any animals. I had a dog, but he got hit by a truck.
Classic.
Classic
tragic story.
I mean, I was
Classic.
gonna take him out. He got out of the apartment and bolted. And we live near a street that like does almost like a 90-degree turn. And
Why'd
so
you adopt a dumb dog?
He just
You
rounded the
adopted
turn.
It literally bolted out the door.
Yeah, I mean we don't have like a gated yard or anything. It's an apartment complex, so
that's what dogs will do. They'll just run.
I was gonna
that's why
basically
cats
he
are better.
slipped his collar, so like I was basically putting his leash on, and he was too excited, and he slipped the collar off of his neck, and he bolted, because he was like hype and ready to go outside, and he ran and just went a little too far into the road, and this guy just rounded the corner with his truck. And the guy got out and was like thinking that I was going to call the cops and stuff. And it was one of those moments. It's like, it sucked. It was really
Yeah, he was weird. You're going to go all John Wick on him or something?
No, he was literally thinking that's like something you go to jail for. That's what he was thinking. Yeah. And I'm like,
Gordo just comes out with his Mac
dude,
10s.
I said it wasn't a kid. I was like, it's not like that. You don't go to jail. I think. I was like pretty sure. I was like, I'm not gonna call the police. I was like, it just sucks. Yeah. And he was apologized and stuff. And I'm like,
it's a tragic. Right. It sucks, but it was an accident. He didn't do it on purpose.
I hope not. I hope. I mean,
he was waiting. He was waiting.
I didn't hear him speed up, so I hope he didn't. But I was just, I was kind of relieved that the dog, it was my boy Boomer. He was 5 years old. But I was kind of relieved that he didn't survive it, because I mean, that would have been a whole nother
that would have
thing.
taken a
But it sucks. It happens. Mistakes happen. But it's so baby girl. She had an ear infection because Ven and Eric, bless him, homies, read up on Wrath and Glory, and he's about to teach me and Eric about everything about it, because I just didn't want to play it. I heard that it wasn't a D100 system. It's not by Fantasy Flight, and I haven't heard good things about it. So I was like,
it doesn't use the right dice. Damn it!
It doesn't click-clack the right math rocks, and I was mad. But I was like, fuck it. He's learning it. He's gonna teach us something, so we're gonna learn it. But I gotta go. I really do. Family and all that. We've gone 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Oh shit! So, Corn,
Yeah.
great as
Yeah.
always to have you.
Thanks, man.
Big Z 40, 45, whatever. Big
Yeah, everybody's sorry we had to torture you with an Australian.
Nah, they'll live. Mark it.
It's
They'll live
alright.
with it. Everybody loves me.
Emus and glass candy. That's what's up, my man. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you later. And we got our Only War campaign tomorrow. But y'all have a good one. Thanks.
Yep.